To me, gambling is a lot like golf. If you have a bad hole, if you have a bad round, you've got to have confidence in that ability to scramble back the next round, the next hole, to get back to par. So for me on Saturday, as I talked about yesterday, and as you know, if you happen to be a customer, I lost that ultra rare 30 dime play on Gonzaga. But I never let yesterday's results influence me when it comes to handicapping or gambling the following day. So yesterday, there was a game that I absolutely loved. And I knew on Saturday what the lines were, of course, on Sunday. And I knew even before I released that 30 dime play on Gonzaga that on Sunday, Oregon was going to be my play. Love the Ducks. I've been riding the Ducks. You know as well as I do, the Ducks have been red hot. And I saw that line with Oregon against Cal Irvine, and I thought everybody and their brother was in love with the Anteaters. I know they had won 17 straight games, but I thought, my God, they're from the Big West, an inferior conference, and they were going to get blown out by Oregon. So no matter what happened with Gonzaga, I was riding Oregon on Sunday. So I lost with Gonzaga, but I came right back, and I wasn't a wuss like a lot of guys would be. They would run, they would cower after losing a big play, and I came right back with a raise the bar 20 dime release, my second biggest play and my normal big play, because again, that 30 dime release on Saturday was the first one I had in 7 years. The normal raise the bar play is a 20 dime release, and I cashed in with Oregon. Did I get all my losses back from Saturday? No, but a hell of a lot with them, thanks to the Ducks' blowout win. If I had been a wuss, if I had backed off, if I had come with a much smaller play, like a lot of guys do, not only as handicappers, but gamblers as well, because, to be quite honest, they don't have the balls, because they let yesterday's results influence how they play, because they get gun shy, I would have been sitting here with a much larger deficit. You can't be scared. If you're scared and you're gambling, it's no different than being an athlete who's scared after striking out, who's scared after missing the game-winning shot, the potential shot, the next game out. You got to have balls. You have to have confidence. And it's like I said in yesterday's video report, I never think I'm going to lose. I think I'm going to win every single day. You got to have that confidence when you're gambling. You really have to. And you may think that I'm just giving you the BS, but if you're out there and you're gambling, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know what I'm telling you is 100% the truth. Because when you're placing that bet, you know just like me, you think you're going to win every single game. Now, do we win? No. But do we think we're going to win? Hell yeah, because that's what we're doing this for. So, also yesterday, 2-0 sweep with the complimentary plays. I was right on the money with my analysis with Texas Tech getting the job done against Buffalo. And also watching Virginia finally cover a game, against Oklahoma. Another sweat, but the Cavaliers got the job done. Oh, FYI, a little story here about golf, and I'll get to your complimentary plays. My grandfather wanted me to do two things when I was a kid: to fish with him and to play golf. I tried fishing a few times. I can't say I ever enjoyed fishing. Just wasn't my sport. Standing there forever with that rod in your hand and water going, it's just boring. Just never was into it. Golf, he tried from the time I was 12 to teach me a golf swing that would work. And it was just one of those things. I just couldn't get it. It was like mechanical. It's like put your head down, keep your eye on the ball, swing through, move your hips, get that swing. And it was mechanical. It was like you could have shown me like an instruction manual. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Move the head. I couldn't get it. He tried for years to try to get me to get that. I couldn't get it. It was just beyond comprehension for me. And after about 3 years and ongoing lessons and trying to teach me and taking me out to driving range, to chip and putt courses, it was just ridiculous. The best I could do was like going to miniature golf. That was it. It was just ridiculous. Fast forward, I'm like 17, right? And I'll never forget, we're at my aunt and uncle's house, and we're playing softball in the backyard. And in baseball, I was one of these kids that, growing up until maybe about 15 or so, I was one of these kids that every time I'd watch TV, I'd see a different guy with a different stance in the batter's box, and it was like, oh, I got to try that stance. I got to see that stance. I was one of these people that was always uncomfortable in the batter's box because I was like this ball of energy waiting. And one time as a kid, I saw Willie Stargell. And this is going back, but those of you who are older, you probably remember it. As a kid, Willie Stargell was this guy. He'd take and he'd swing, and he'd rotate that bat, and he'd generate, and he'd just swing it around and around and around, almost like a inverse helicopter swing. And I thought, wow, this was a way to get rid of all that pent-up energy. And it annoyed pitchers like crazy. When you're a teenager, it would annoy them because they'd see you, you're swinging this bat around, and they're going in their windup, and it would catch their attention. It's just amazing how it would piss them off. But it made me relaxed, and I had this uncanny ability to pull the bat back, and I'd be ready to go. They'd be in their windup, I'd be swinging around, and no problem, getting the bat back, ready to swing into action. My grandfather sees me, and he says, do that. That's your golf swing. Do that. But with the golf club going the other way. And I was like, goes, and of course he has a set of golf clubs in his car. He gets the golf clubs, he gets them out, puts the ball down, he says, do that, do it the other way. And it was like, wow, that's the golf swing. And it was amazing. It was like, that is the golf swing that you wanted to teach me all these years? Tease the ball up, and it was bam, 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 bam. And it was like, that's all I had to do? That's it? So we went and played one round of golf. One round of golf, that was it. I was more enthused actually at 17 to actually drive the golf course around. My mom's uncle owned actually a country club, so my grandfather used to golf like 4 times a week, pissed my grandmother off, I think, because the 19th hole was more an extended play. So one time I shot, I think it was an 84, 85, and that was it, because my God, it was like a 4-hour round. If golf could be played in like 43 minutes, I was all in, but that was it. One round, that was it. Never again in my life. Never ever did it again. Had no interest in it, but yes, that's my golf story for you. So let's get to your complimentary plays. But man, these games stink tonight. Putting good money on these teams, ugh. Let's talk about the game between Colorado and Norfolk State. Colorado, I used them last week, I think, as a free play, and they barely got the cover, laying 4.5, winning by 5 at home against Dayton. They're 14-2 at home, 12-4 against the spread. After going 7-2 in Pac-12 play at home, they closed the regular season with 5 straight wins at home, beating Oregon by 22, Arizona State by 4, Arizona by 7, Utah by 8, UCLA by 25, and USC by 11. They won their first 2 Pac-12 tournament games at Staples Center, beating California by 5, Oregon State by 15. Had Washington on the ropes in the Pac-12 semifinals, were up and then succumbed by 5 points, 66-61. As I said, they held off Dayton 78-73. In that game, Tyler Bay, their only big man, left with a leg injury, did come back, didn't look that good when he did come back. This is their only big guy, as they play a primarily 3-guard lineup. Had 13.3 points, or averaged 13.3 points, 9.8 rebounds during the regular season. Had a big game against Dayton with 14 points and 12 rebounds in 28 minutes. Norfolk State, meanwhile, is coming off a big 80-79 overtime win at Alabama as a 16-point underdog. And that really was the final nail in the coffin for Avery Johnson that led to his buyout in Tuscaloosa. This was a Norfolk State team that was down by 7 at halftime, 10 early in the second half. They only shot 37.5% in that game, but they out-rebounded Alabama. They had 49 rebounds in that game, and 21 of them were on the offensive glass, and that led to 22 points. Now, was Alabama even motivated for that game? Not necessarily, and the Norfolk State players said that they felt that Bama's players in the pregame warm-ups really weren't focused, and they felt that that was a major advantage for them. Now, 4 days earlier, Norfolk State had blown a 12-point second-half lead against North Carolina Central in the MEAC championship game that led to a 3-point loss and cost them their second straight Big Dance tournament appearance. But they played well in Tuscaloosa. They advanced to this game. This is a big, big number for a Colorado team to cover, which, although Tad Boyle said that prior to the NIT that he thought that his team would be motivated because it was a young team as opposed to a senior-laden squad that sometimes is not motivated for postseason games. I think that Norfolk State has a little bit more size, and I wonder how healthy Colorado's one big man really is after suffering that leg injury, although he did return in the second half against Dayton. I think 14.5 points, I'd be willing to take a shot on Norfolk State, who is a little more motivated for this game. So I grab the points with Norfolk State. West Virginia is at home. What does $40,000 once again buy you in the CBI tournament? A home game. It paid off for West Virginia in their first CBI game against Grand Canyon University. I used them as a free play last week as they managed to beat Grand Canyon. Listen, West Virginia, a 14-20 regular season, but a very good, strong performance in the Big 12 tournament. As they beat Oklahoma 72-71 as a 6.5-point underdog. They upset Texas Tech. That Texas Tech team you saw last night playing so good. As a 13-point dog, they beat them 79-74, eventually losing to Kansas 88-74 in the semifinals as a 13-point underdog. They won their home finale, beating Iowa State. And remember, Iowa State eventually won the Big 12 championship. In the quarterfinals of the CBI last week, they beat Grand Canyon 77-63. Did they get tremendous crowd support? No. Season low, 5,500 showed up for the game in Morgantown. It was an interesting game because they trailed by 7 in the first half. They trailed by 2 with 9:40 to play in that game. But they went on a 20-2 run. They had a commanding 49-36 rebounding advantage. They used their size and their penetration in the lane to actually have an 18-7 free throw advantage, getting to the line more frequently than the Antelope, even though Grand Canyon had considerable size along its front line. Did they, tonight they're taking on a Coastal Carolina team that managed to beat Howard 81-72. And that was a game played at home for Coastal Carolina, who didn't shoot particularly well, only 37.5%, but they out-rebounded Howard 53-34 in that contest. This is a Coastal Carolina team that was 9-9 in the Sun Belt. 7th place finish in the Sun Belt. This is a Coastal Carolina team that was playing at home against Howard, and they were down by 14 points with 13 minutes to play in that home game. I got to lay the points with West Virginia. This is a West Virginia team that is so much different than the West Virginia team that started the season because of dismissals, because of injuries, because of transfers. This is a very young team right now that's relying on 4 freshmen, 2 juniors, 2 junior college transfers. Bob Huggins is really trying to build something here for the future, using that late season surge, the success of the Big 12 tournament, as a launching pad for next year. That's why West Virginia has spent $80,000 to host these first 2 games. The line has jumped from 9 points to 10 points as I do this video report at 11:15 this morning. I'm going to go with West Virginia and lay the points. I kind of like West Virginia a little more than Norfolk State because of the pedigree of the Mountaineers. Neither one of them are great picks, but there you have it. Good luck, everybody.